friends, this is Nitin. Today we talk about REST API in Node.js. So for that, the very first you will create package.json by this command npm init and y. This will create a basic package.json for us, and the dependencies for which we required in this Node API project. So here we will install npm install express json web token body parser, and we'll save it as a dev dependency. We'll install some other dependencies if required. As for now, we install only 3. So here we can see that in our package.json. Okay, so we'll make a config.js file. Here we will do module.exports, and we'll create a variable like port, and suppose we are running our application on port 3000. So gradually we'll add more variables here as we need it. So now what we can do, so we need a body parser. We will also require that const body parser equals to require body parser, and after that we'll add dot use body parser dot json. So for this it pass our JSON request and response, and after that what we can do, we can just start our server app.listen, and we'll use config.port, but we have not imported config yet, so we'll import config equals to where, so config and okay, port. We'll give a callback method here, callback function, and we'll see console.log server is running at port and config.port. Okay, let's so I will run nodemon here. So you have to install this nodemon as a global dependency. Install -g for global nodemon and my save. So by this you can install it globally. I have already installed, so I will not install it again. I will just run nodemon and we'll see our app is crashed. Let's see what happened. Resolve module index.json cannot find module. Okay, where we have used this module. Okay, so here we have used as a main as an index.js, so we'll make it server.js, and here we can see after changing it to server.js we can just write nodemon and our app is running. Now we can okay, at port 3000 is running, and now we can make a basic So I'm using arrow function here, and we'll return a response dot JSON, and we give a message route is working. We'll save our file, and you can see that Nodemon is automatically restarted, grasp our changes, and now we'll check it using Postman. So our app is running on 3000. Get request correct slash this is a root router, so nothing else. We'll see. Okay, so route is working. So by this we have created a very basic API using Node.js. Now we'll create a little more complex APIs. So suppose we'll make it as one more folder, routes. Okay, so by this we can bifurcate our various routes if we are using different small application in our project, like user, expense or something. So for all the entities we can make a separate route file. Suppose for user we make a user.js. If we are using any other, suppose expense, if our application is related to some expense or something else, we can create the router for that. So by this we can separate different entity routes inside the routes folder. So by this we can make our server.js clean and clear. For that we will require to import these files. So for that, const user is equals to require. So now we have to go into routes slash user. So this is for user, const expense require routes slash expense. So by this we have imported these two files, and we can use these files in our server.js by app.use. Suppose for user our API path is slash user, and we can say user here, and for expense we can say expense, and we can write expense here. So by this we can use, but if we save it and restart, our server will not restart because I haven't export or something in expense and user.js. So let's do it. So we need const router, where we require express dot router, and we have to invoke this router. And now from here we can write our API router.get slash, and just hitting it a slash, comma, request response next. Suppose here we are passing response dot JSON message user is working. So like this we can separate our routes, and here we have to module dot supports router. So one important thing is here, if we write in this way, so in our server.js, when we say const to require, so we get the router inside the user. But suppose if in user we don't write this way and we write like this, in that case we have to do here user dot router. So don't forget these things. Sometimes we get error and we don't know why we are getting these errors, so please be careful. We save it and we write the same thing in expense.js. User is working, you can write here that expense is working, everything is fine. Now our main route is user for user and expense for expense. So here we write the path of our API is /user, and when we go inside user, this is only a single slash. So our main route is /user for the user. So let's check Postman, and we say /user. Okay, user is working, means our routes are working. When we write expense is working. So this means that we have separate the routes, and now we can work on more complex REST APIs. So this is a basic concept where we have distributed our routings instead of making it in a single server.js app like this, where we have given a root route. Now we can separate by this, and we can write different get and post methods by this separation of routes. So you can see our server is running, and